reason I felt this was a different experience was actually when I was on stage and looking at the audience, and they seemed to be reacting in a different way. And I was trying to understand that, and it made sense after a while because actually this was a highly social experience. And what I mean by that is, yes, they were listening to me, and yes, they were engaged, but they were actually also engaged in sharing what I was saying with others. They really were a reflection of this social media passion that we have now, right? And the interdependence and them wanting to share with others and getting feedback from others about what they learned from the speech. So it was very much a real-time, engaged, dynamic experience, even though in the audience I wasn't sure how dynamic they felt, but it really was because they were actually out there playing back what they were hearing, which was awesome. And I think the reason why this happened so much in this particular moment, in this particular speech, was that the engagement around the speech and around the conversation that I was going to be offering them started way earlier, started actually through an article that I was interviewed for Convene magazine, and then there was a lot of social media around that article and around the speech, and so already there was this momentum starting, so that when I asked people to tweet while I was speaking, they did, and they just continued that conversation while I was engaging with them on stage, and then continued the conversation after the fact through social media. So it was a great experience because it wasn't just those 35 minutes or 40 minutes on stage. It was actually weeks in the making and then days post that the speech had value. And so that was very exciting. But at that moment, it was a little scary, like, what's going on here? But then it was very fulfilling at the end to see how that transpired. It's like NFL football, right? NFL football, if you're a football fan, for the longest time was basically a moment in time, a couple of months in time. And then they realized, wait a minute, we can engage people 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, if we just leverage the digital space and leverage social media and recognize that people want to engage beyond just the hour or 2 hours they're watching the game or the whatever number of months that they're experiencing the football season, right? It's the same sort of thing, that there is tremendous longevity and dynamism to the experience of a speech, right? It's not just someone standing on stage reciting some words. It is an entire experience that has a lifespan, and you can really drum up the excitement and the interest from the get-go and keep that momentum going even afterwards, because people want to engage too. They want to get excited by it. The audience wants to get excited by it. They want to learn in advance so that they're primed and ready for the experience, so they can share, so they get something and then they can share and be thought leaders themselves, and then respond and react and keep a little bit of that magic as they go through the rest of their days post the event. And little did I know, while I was on stage giving my all about this topic, and engaging with the audience, that kind of real-time engagement that I was experiencing with the audience, both kind of physically but also virtually, led to the fact that within 20 minutes of me speaking, the conference was trending. The conference in Minneapolis was trending on Twitter, which was great. I had no idea. It was only after the fact. But it just goes to show you that there's so many different ways of surrounding this experience that people, both the speaker and the audience, want to get engaged in. And we're ambidextrous. We can do that now, right? So let the audience play a little bit more before, during, and after. We actually did an anthropology-based study on why we are so engaged with social media and really the deep value behind it. Whether it's through that research or whether through the work that I do with the socialarchitects.co, I'm a board member of that company, which really focuses on influencer marketing and the influencers within the social media space. You see how when members of the company have their own voice, speak for themselves as well as the company, how much it attracts their audiences, because it feels authentic, it feels real. They're still selling their brand, they're still selling their products in a way, but they're doing it through this interdependency that we addressed before.